Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by my channel. I appreciate you watching. Today is episode 2 of the Ultimate After Show. It's where I do a recap of the Ultimate Fighter Season 25. This week I'm going to be recapping episode 2, the fight between Eddie Truck Gordon and Tom Galicchio. There's going to be 3 parts to this video. My overview of the episode, what I think about the coaches of this episode, and the fight itself from the episode. There's a lot of bickering back and forth between the coaches, and even Uriah Faber got into it with TJ. To me, it seems like this is some high school girls, like, you left. No, I didn't leave. You kicked me out. This and that. It's kind of silly. I mean, they've parted ways. It's a done deal. So, like, just move on, To me, it seems like it comes from a place of love. If you really didn't care that this person left, then you wouldn't really miss them, or you wouldn't give a shit why they left, So part of me would love to be able to sit down with them and say, hey, do you actually miss TJ, and TJ, do you miss Uriah Faber? Because I think, these guys spent years together, and deep down, I think they were hurt, that they parted ways. But, it's getting tiresome to hear them, talk about why he left or why you left or you kicked me out. No, I didn't. I can prove it. To me, it's getting a little bit old. I hope they don't do this every single episode. I like the beef between 2 training partners that no longer train together, and now they're going to fight it out in the cage to see who actually is the better of the 2 guys. Training aside, now you can prove it in the cage on the big show for the belt. I think that is cool. The whole team aspect, why did you leave, this and that, is kind of played out. And so hopefully they'll slow that down a little bit. The coaches. Not much to say. They didn't really get into it a whole lot this episode. It was more Uriah Faber and TJ. But I will say, overall, I think TJ is a better coach. Cody Garbrandt is more of a fighter first. He probably doesn't have a lot of experience with coaching. I don't know. But it just seems like he's, not to say he's bad, but I feel like TJ is a little bit better as a coach. He's a little bit more hands-on. I've noticed that TJ will corner his fighters, and Cody sits in the bleachers. He'll coach from the bleachers. They even cut the screenshot, and they'll show, Cody in the bleachers, yelling out instructions to the fighter. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't you just be in the corner if you're going to yell out instructions and, coach him? It's just a matter of distance. I don't know why he's doing that, but, he's the coach, and I think maybe he takes a backseat to his head coach, Justin Buchholz, and lets him corner the fighters. That could be very well possible. But, either way, I just think TJ's a little bit better of as a coach. But the fight, okay, we have a fight between Eddie Truck Gordon and Tom Galicchio. And Eddie Gordon is actually a former winner of the Ultimate Fighter. So this guy has talent, and the fight was a really good fight. It was better than the previous weeks, you know what I mean? Eddie Truck Gordon, he was doing really well in the stand-up, and you could tell he had better stand-up than Tom. And Truck was finding a home for his right hand. Several times he would connect on Tom, but he just didn't, connect cleanly. He didn't have enough on it. If he maybe stepped into it a little more, I think he probably would have knocked Tom out, because it was finding a spot. Tom finally got a takedown. It was kind of a sloppy takedown, but nevertheless, it worked. You know what I mean? He got it to the ground, and Truck has a decisive reach and height advantage. And how do you negate that? You get it to the ground. Tom did that, and Tom showed that he's more superior on the ground than Eddie. Eddie just it seemed to me like a few mental lapses. He actually had an opportunity to stand up, and when he stood up, he kind of stood up naked, like not naked, but he didn't. He just kind of stood up on all fours. He left himself exposed, and Tom jumped on his back and immediately, you know, sunk in a rear naked choke. But Eddie did a great job of fighting it off. You know, he held his own, he fought it off, and then it seemed like as it went on, Eddie kind of had another mental lapse, and then he went to break off the feet, you know, the body lock, and he left his, you know, neck exposed. And what's the most important thing is the choke arm. You know, you got to make sure that choke doesn't sink in. And so the second, you know, after he broke off the first rear neck choke, he went for the feet, and then Tom sunk it back in again. And it seemed like Eddie tried to spin a little bit, slightly. He spun and actually spun into it and gave his neck up. And once it was in, you know, Tom just squeezed the life out of him, and they fell back, and Tom got the win. So it was a good fight, you know, back and forth. It was, you know, first round a sub for Tom Galicchio. He moves on. And I don't know where Eddie Truck Gordon goes from here, because, you know, a former winner of the Ultimate Fighter, and now he loses in the very first round. So he's got talent, no doubt about it. So I don't know where, if he's going to be able to fight on the finale or what. But, you know, he's definitely got talent, but it just didn't show today. Next week we have Jesse Taylor versus Mehdi Baghdad. And this should be a good fight. You know, I think this is a classic, you know, wrestler in Jesse Taylor versus striker in Mehdi Baghdad. And Jesse Taylor, this guy actually made it all the way to the finals of the Ultimate Fighter, but then being a dumbass, maybe a young kid, drunken stupor, he blew it by, you know, acting a fool, smashing through a window of a limo, and just acting a fool. And so Dana White kicked him off. So Jesse Taylor definitely has the ability and the skill to win this whole show, and I think he's one to watch. You know, he's fought in other organizations, and he's done very well. So this next week's matchup, I'm highly anticipated by me. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Ultimate Fighter, and be checking back next week for the Ultimate After Show, Episode 3. Tell me what you guys think about the fight. Tell me what you guys think about the coaches. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. I'll do my best to answer any questions if you have any. I appreciate you watching, and until the next video. Next week we have Jesse Taylor versus what's his name?